This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.
Hello, beautiful. This is the Awakening to More podcast, and I am Alicia Timmerman. Have you ever asked yourself, is there more, or thought to yourself, there must be more? In this podcast, we explore all of the areas of your life where you might be yearning for more. More meaning, more connection, more time, more growth and abundance, but also more patience, calm, peace, acceptance, and of course, fun. From spiritual awakenings and journeys, relationships, business, parenting, and all of the things. Join me as I share from my heart to yours, along with amazing guests, to help you find your own way home, to create a life you relish and love. Thank you for being here. Let's jump in. Episode 3, my friends. This is going to be all about energy, frequency, vibration, the universal language of vibration. And I'm actually just laughing to myself before I record this episode, because so much of what I'm going to share with you today, I feel like I haven't put pretty much most of it into practice today. I'm recording this mid-school holidays. Those of you who are parents, I'm solo parenting, and those who know I've got 4 kids, or last night we had 6 kids staying here. And I feel like I'm so happy to be sitting down recording this podcast right now. After a big day out and about, I've literally plonked my 2 little kids in front of the TV so that I can come and have some time to spend with you all. And it's going to be such a pleasure, because I feel like today I wasn't really always my most patient at times, and I am always in the trenches of this energetic work and having to really put it into practice. Like, it would be super easy, I think, to live as a nun or live as a monk or live in a cave in some ways, where you can just focus on your energy transmissions and where you have a lot of control over everything in your life. But as soon as you become a parent, those of you who do, and one of my kids is just flushing the toilet in the next room, but you know what? I'm just going to keep going, because this is my life, friends. And the perfectionist part of me that has been at the driver's seat for so long in my life, I've slowly been dismantling her. So I just wanted to say that right at the start, that although I'm going to be sharing a lot of information about energy and the things that have helped me immensely, still every day we are getting up, doing our best with what we know and what we understand. But I don't know how I would be navigating my life if I didn't understand energy and didn't know how to boost my energy, didn't know how to clean my energy, didn't know how to understand myself as an energetic being. So I really hope that much of what I share will help you in some way, shape or form, because I know if you're not navigating parenting stuff, you may be navigating aging parents or challenges at work or all the different things that arise. So having said all of that about my day and my life, let's get into it. So we are vibrational beings, still in this human form though, the reality of living here in this realm and all the things it brings. But at the ultimate level, at the level of truth, we are energetic beings. And I believe that each and every one of us is connected to the ultimate source energy, and that we are like these little satellite dishes traversing this realm, and we are receiving information from higher realms all the time. And I'm going to actually do definitely another episode. I almost called this episode that we are all channelers, and we are. I mean, I channel in a very overt way, but all of us, each and every one of us are channelers. I'm going to definitely dig into that and talk about that in another episode. So we are like this satellite dish connected to everything. But the question is how conscious we are of the information we're receiving, and how conscious we are of the information we're digesting, the waves, the frequency, the messages, both from different realms and also from this realm, what we're emitting, what we are releasing out. So we are just waves of energy. We are projecting energy out. And, quantum physics, I've probably spoken about this in previous episodes, but quantum physics has shown that that is the case. That's what we are. We are waves of energy, less than 1% matter. Human consciousness. This is where it's at. When we start to understand ourselves from this perspective of being this energetic human consciousness and how powerful our consciousness is. And science is also now showing our cells and how they resonate, they vibrate, our organs vibrate, the body has its own vibration. And this is pretty cool to know. Healthy cells make a continuous singing noise. Cancerous cells sound more like it's like more like Donald Duck, like radio getting static and interrupted noise. And we are an instrument. Our body is an instrument. Just feel into how that feels within your being. If I say to you, your body is an instrument, and we tune into the frequency of our experience on this realm. We tune into and connect with other people. We connect in with their frequencies. And maybe if I put it another way, how quickly do you get a sense of someone, right? You meet them for the first time. There's a part of you that does this scan of them, isn't there, right? Beyond what they look like, the words they're using, how they're talking, there's another part of us that does like this energetic scan of the other person. And we kind of get a read. I really do, and I'm sure you do as well. That's because they have this frequency emitting from them. We have a frequency emitting from us. It dances together and has a bit of play, has a bit of a communication. So all these things happening beyond what we can potentially see. If you're interested in digging into some of the science and the quantum physics about this, there are some people who have done a lot in this space that you can read their work. Dr. David Hawkins, many of you are probably aware of. Bruce Lipton, he might be a doctor, I can't remember. Dr. Wiliam Tiller. Dr. James Gimzewski, I don't know how to say that, Gimzewski. So they're just some of the players. There's a lot of other people. This was a really cool thing that I came across, which was that there are these electromagnetic machines that can change the level of pH, a pH level in water, but it takes like 12 hours or something if they run the water through this particular electromagnetic system. And there were some studies done that showed that human consciousness, human intention, I mean, this sounds wacky probably to many of you. For those of you who believe all this stuff, you're like, yeah, we're in. Absolutely. Human consciousness staring at water and bringing forth the intention for it to change its pH level by, I don't know, whatever it was, can be done in like, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, something like 12 or 20 seconds, something insane. And those of you who have come across the work of Dr. Emoto, the scientist who froze all the water and wrote different words on the frozen water and then took photos of it under super strong microscopes. It's phenomenal if you haven't seen that, in terms of like hate and disgust, and that was just all messy, kind of similar and akin to what I was saying about the cells. You know, those cells that have got cancer are just like staticky and all over the shop. So too, these water that had these words of disgust and fear and outrage, that's all like blah, messy, whereas love, peace, joy just look like the most amazing snowflakes. And there are actually studies done around changing dirty lakes and contaminated lakes with groups of people, bringing their intention, and then not even in, I don't think they were even at the location. I think this was done remotely, and then the water being tested after these mass prayers being done. It's just phenomenal. And when we realize this is the power of our intention, these are the power of our words, our thoughts that we are allowing to dwell within our temple, we are insanely powerful, even when we are in our human form. And our intent, the fact that our intent can potentially change things at the molecular, the quantum level. And we're made up of so much water, right? It's just really insane when you start getting into this. So the thoughts that we have, they create sounds, vibrations within ourselves. And these different levels of vibration can also impact other people. And you can feel that, like when you're in the presence of someone who is emitting stress and anxiety, how do you feel around that person? I know all of us have worked in workplaces where we've worked with someone like that, and you just feel like you don't know how they're going to be a particular day, or walking on eggshells. I know I see a lot of that in the work I do. I work in workplace conflict space, and a large part of the reason that I'm brought in to assist with conflict is because of humans that struggle to manage their own stress and equilibrium, and are most likely not aware of themselves as these energetic beings and how they're impacting other people. And energy doesn't lie. So even if someone thinks that they are saying all the right things, smiling, doing everything that looks like from the outside they're ticking the box as an employee, as a manager, whatever it is, if energetically their nervous system is just like running on adrenaline, or they're running there's often a lot of kind of insecurity and bravado and all this kind of stuff that can happen in workplaces, people feel it. And teams that thrive, families, workplaces, where we have that sense of psychological safety, someone that is just that even-keeled, calm, will tell you, will be clear in their communications. Like Brené Brown, my favourite line from her, she's got so many, but clear is kind. When we're interacting with those kind of people, our nervous system starts to relax. And it's really interesting. I was listening to a podcast about neurodivergent brains, and how when they put whatever it is on their heads to test their brain waves and things like that, if you've got a neurotypical and a neurodivergent, this might be relevant for some of you in relationships or with your kids or your parents, friends, whatever. The communication waves, the brain waves, are not really humming together. But when you have a neurodivergent brain communicating with a neurodivergent brain, is like humming in sweet symphony with each other because they understand each other. I've been reading a lot about neurodivergent actually, and at some stage I definitely want to share some of the stuff I've discovered. I just feel like neurodivergent brains are these really honest humans who haven't fallen into the conditioning of society in some ways. Anyway, I won't get off topic in this one because there's just so much I want to talk to you all about. I just am constantly coming up with different ideas and different topics. And actually, I just want to thank you because I don't know how you've done this, but you, the amazing listeners, I was sharing this podcast, the link of this podcast. I was mainly sharing the Spotify link to people, but somehow within the last month, we were on the Apple charts, this podcast, and peaked at one point during the last 30 days as number 21 in Australia in the self-development category. So thank you, friends. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. So the power of love is the most powerful vibration, powerful frequency, but not just love, unconditional love. Unconditional love. And that mother of mine, she's got it for me. But unconditional love, I mean, that'll be a whole nother topic as well, is not something easily found in this realm. Think about it. So much of our love is conditional. You know, if you do this, if you act like this towards me, if you treat me like this, if you do all these things, then I'll love you. But if we are able to really open our hearts, open our energy to another being and love them unconditionally for all that they are, I believe that the healing energy that feeds back to our realm is beyond most emissions that we're feeding back into the realm. All of us are connected to one. We are all the waves of energy. We just look like we're in these separate bodies, but I believe, and I'm pretty sure quantum physics also shows this, that it's just all this big pool of energy that we are all vibrating. And not only humans, obviously, but everything. All living creatures and those that are not living. Desks, chairs, everything. If you bring right down to the base molecular structure, they're all emitting frequency. So let's talk a little bit about how we can best optimize our experience in the world when we know the power of our intention. Being present, bringing our awareness so that we're not living on autopilot. And sadly, most of us are most of the time because we just have all these programs running that we've built up over the years. And if we're living consciously, even like 10% of the time, that's pretty phenomenal. I know that I just flip in and out of it. And then you kind of come back into awareness. Oh, right, okay, here I am. I'm right here, right now. Feel into my body. What do I feel like? What do I want to do? How's my emotional state going, right? Rather than just all these default actions all through the day. Living with this intention, this capacity to come back into presence, is not something that, in my view, requires hours and hours and hours of meditation every day. And I know your life is pretty chock-a-block. And you've probably got lots of different things that you're having to attend to every day. So the way that I seek to bring more awareness into my life is just through micro rituals all through the day to bring me back. And those of you, if you've got my book, at the back of it, I outline about, 30 different things throughout the day, starting just with, now I want to go into a whole podcast episode on all of those. I'll do another episode on that because I really want to get through what I want to get through this. All right. So just bringing yourself back into present. And you can just simply say that, like when you feel like you're getting a bit unconscious, you're getting a bit overwhelmed. Okay, where am I? What am I doing? And I often use your name, right? What am I doing now? Okay, leash, right, leash. What's going on? Just check in with yourself. So many of us, we're just doing the same things every day without bringing that focus and attention. And suddenly another day's gone, another day's gone, another day's gone. But we create the experience we have each day on earth, and our intentions about every part of our day influence our experiences and how we see and experience the world. And this is why you can have two people experience exactly the same thing, go through some kind of disaster, a divorce, a death of a loved one, all of the high level suffering things that happen here on this realm, and have entirely different experiences of that, see it very, very differently. And when we have that spiritual perspective with that faith that our soul is in control and that everything is perfect, and all the shitstorm that maybe we're experiencing, like one thing after another, like I've been just having some weird ass stuff happen lately with money, which is just like banging my car into someone. Today I just had like 6 kids in the car and I just scraped the car. Just like I'm talking to you about like autopilot and being conscious and being very focused and intention and all this stuff, right? But yeah, I've just been having this like one after another of these things, all these big bills and big money things. It's like, okay, what's going on here? So this is like an opportunity for more growth, more learning, all the things, right? So my intention for this episode is to share with you as much as I can in this short time together ways that you can hear maybe something different around energy and yourself as an energetic being, that even if there's one little thing that you do in the day differently to help connect you. And those of you who follow Esther Hicks, I haven't actually followed a lot of her, and it took me a long time to actually want to follow her because she's also a channeler, and I wanted to not be influenced by another channeler. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, I was channeling my own stuff and that I wasn't going to be, I don't know, watching someone else and somehow trying to put my own human things that I'd read or seen into my channeling or something. I don't know what it was about. Anyway, I did finally start to watch some of Esther Hicks's stuff. And there was one thing that really jumped out at me, which was that she said, you might be vacuuming your whole house, right? You're out and about doing all the things all day. But if you don't plug the vacuum in at the start of the day, it's going to be pretty much a waste of your time, right? And it's not exactly that in terms of our life if we don't really connect and plug into source every day, that your day's a waste. But it's going to be a whole lot more enjoyable if we are taking that time, really connecting in with source, starting our day with beautiful intention for the day. Or I think I got this from Oprah, jumping out of bed and putting your feet on the ground. Thank you for this day. Let's see what unfolds. Let's see what unfolds today, right? We never know, do we? That's kind of such a fun thing about living here. You might think one day is going to like happen a certain way, and suddenly this and that and all these things happen. So just setting those intentions for the day, connecting yourself back. For me, I start every morning with breath work, and you can go to my website and see under free resources the breathing that I do every morning. And I'm not allowed to touch my phone. I've probably said this in another episode. I'll just repeat things, I'm sure, over and over and again. I'm not allowed to touch my phone until I've done that. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about energy. And I'm going to take us through pretty briefly. I could spend so much time on each of these pretty briefly so that I don't overwhelm us all in this one session. And also I get my kids off the TV and, cook them some dinner and all of that stuff that I'm supposed to do as a mum. So I'm going to take you through what I call some laws of energy, the laws of energy. And I kind of laughed when this concept of laws of energy came out. It's like, I've been a lawyer for a long time now, but never did I think I was going to be talking about laws of energy, but here we are. So the first thing that I've already really touched on is that you are pure energy vibrating, and no matter what our gender, our race, the language we speak, our beliefs, all of the things, this is this one universal language, the language of vibration. And energy is our most valuable commodity. And when we have lots of it, we can really feel like we're enjoying our life more, right? Things feel easier, things flow better. But when you feel depleted, when you feel like you don't have enough energy, life can really become tricky, tough, tiring, and difficult. And I know because I've been in those times. And everything's that normally you can just glide through, things can really start to get us down pretty quickly if we don't have energy. So to be very conscious of this energy and how we use it, how we share it, and to make sure that you're really treating yourself like this most precious investment that you've got, because our energy is absolutely our most precious commodity. And we get taught maths and English at school, we get taught all these things, but really I would love to see, and I believe in the future, these will be taught. Kids will be taught about their energetic nature and learn how to clear and boost and protect their energy and understand. And I want to probably talk a lot about the protecting the energy piece, because I know that can sound really like, oh my gosh, I've got to protect my energy from everyone. And ultimately, I don't think we do, in the sense that we're all one energy anyway. But depending on the level of consciousness through which we experience the world and our programming, it can be very helpful to have some rituals around protecting your human version of you, so that energy doesn't come into your system that's not helpful for you. I guess I'll probably put it that way for now, but I'm sure we'll go more into that as well. And as a community, as society, we have more luxuries than we've ever had in the world. We have this incredibly convenient, very, very insanely comfortable lifestyle, most of us, certainly in the Western world. And yet we also have the highest levels of depression, suicide, loneliness, and there's so much disconnection. And I think Australia is the third medicated country for anxiety in the world. For me, these are the diseases, these are the viruses that are really sweeping through the minds of humans. And fear. Fear is the big thing that is really consuming, infiltrating, taking over many human minds, who then are not free. When we are consumed by fear of all of the external things, then we're not free. We're also not able to make really critical, rational decisions, because our prefrontal cortex, our executive thinking part of our brain, is asleep. So the more we understand ourselves energetically and being able to tap into source, the more I believe that we can help free, sounds a bit full on, doesn't it? But free minds across the earth to really lift a lot of the clouds of stress and overwhelm and all of the things. We are not our body. We are energetic spiritual beings in human form. And there's one basic principle, and to move towards things that enhance your energy and move away from things that deplete your energy. And even that could be something now that you think about. And if I were to say to you now, hey, honey bun, sweetheart, gorgeous human, grab a pen and write down 3 things that you know boost your energy, enhance your energy. And now write down, probably going a bit fast, you'll take your time, 3 things that you know deplete you. And are they things that you have to do? Is there another way? Can you outsource that? Can you find another way? Now, if it's your loved one, because very often that can be the case, you can't just necessarily get rid of someone in your family. So what are the ways as we go through that you can just continue to make sure you're keeping yourself more than above water? You can't be drowning and getting pulled down and exhausted, no matter how much you love these other humans, and you can't walk the journey for them. So all you can do is continue to treat yourself preciously, looking after yourself, so that you don't drown and go under when you've got those kind of situations in your life. So I'm going to just fly through this a little bit. Let's move to, or maybe I'll get you to just have a feel of your energy. So this is something I do in some workshops that I've done in the past, but just in case you've never felt energy yourself as energy, as vibrating energy, I want you to just put your hands, if you're not driving, if you're driving, don't do this, do it later. Put your hands maybe like 20 centimeters apart, palms facing each other, and just bring them close together and just really bring your intention and your focus between the palms of your hands. Just see if you can feel anything there. And then just start to move them back and forward, in and out. Just see if you can feel this energy flowing. So for me, it feels like magnets. It feels like a pull resistance, the energy, and you can play with that. I remember the first time I felt that, I was like, oh my God, what is this, right? Because you cannot see it, but it's there, and it absolutely exists. All right, the second thing is law 2. You have an energy field that exists outside your body. So you've got these waves of energy through what looks like your physical body, and then we have this field which has all various layers to it, this magnificent, intelligent web of interlacing energy. And the health of our energy field is really important for our physical body as well. And cells are influenced by the health of our energy field, our energetic boundary. And when I do one-on-one energy healings with my guide, Maya, she will work on the field first, on tuning up the field, using sound frequency, checking how far the field is from the body. And I can't see them. I can't see the field. She can, but she does like energetic surgery, using my hands to work on the field as well. And so she's explained to me that this is where she starts first, because if she goes in and then works on the physical body and works on the energy centers, the chakras, whatever you want to call them, then potentially if the field is not healthy, then that can kind of undermine the work that she's done on the body and on the energy centers. So I believe that we need to clean and clear our energy field daily, just like we clean our teeth. And imagine you've got you're making a smoothie. I'm big on my smoothies. You make a smoothie every day and you just don't clean the blender and you just keep using and using and using it. It's the same for our field. So I like to always do an energy exercise, even if it's just your intention. At the end of the day, cleaning my field, clearing my field before I go to bed, anything from today that's not mine, release it, return it back to the universe. I refuse to take on anything that I'm not responsible for. Release it back to the universe. Just dropping stuff off you before you snuggle into your bed. All right, law 3. You are like an energy alchemist and you can create energy. Only although from what's already here. So it's like a painter you've got all of the resources here. Everything's already here, but you can alchemize and create energy through the commands from your mind and your beliefs that drive our thoughts. So we are either engaging in empowering thoughts or depleting thoughts for how we experience the world. And I've already spoken about that a little bit. The next thing is around this being a receiver of energy, law 4, where we're in constant energy exchange with people, energy fields intermingling, and we're the commander of our energy field and what we receive, but only if we're consciously doing that. So if we're not consciously doing that, you might have an interaction with someone, and that sometimes you might have a sit down with someone and they kind of vomit out all their stuff and all their dramas and all the problems and all the things, right? And you're a good listener and you listen to it all. And at the end, they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. I feel so much better. And they've kind of just like dropped it all on you. They're not meaning to do that, but that's what's happened if you don't consciously have an energetic boundary where you're not taking it on. So where you then walk away feeling like, oh my God, I've just been hit by a bus, right? So we have the power to command our energy system about what it will and won't take on, what it will and won't receive. So you can sit with people in the depths of their despair, and the work I do in workplaces, often people are super stressed out, tense, a lot of crying in sessions, all of those things, and we can sit with them, hear them, but not take it on when we're very clear about our own energetic boundaries. It's not mine. It's not mine to take on. I will hear you, listen. You're not saying that to them, but you're saying that to yourself, consciously affirming what you will and won't take on into your system. And these energetic boundaries are really important just to ensure that we're not just taking on all this stuff and everyone's problems and all the things. And our cell membranes, it knows what to assimilate or eliminate. But when we give it that extra command through our commanding system, just make it easier. So we don't want to become worn down and mucky in our energetic system. So to be really conscious of what you're consuming, who you're spending your time with, uplifting or depleting you, what you're eating. Processed foods might, I believe, have a denser frequency compared to natural foods. What are we digesting? There's a lot of studies around, you start the day with the news, you're likely to have, I can't remember the exact figure or percentage, but basically not as a good day, to put it simply, because that's just all the fear-mongering and all the hoo-ha, and the news is just sharing all of this stuff that who knows really how much of it it's actually correct sources. And sometimes if you follow the money on these things, sadly it's not always for the best intention, shall I say. So being conscious of the social media and all the things, TV, and how much you're digesting and whether it's helpful for you or not. And after that interaction you've had with someone where you feel like it's not helpful, again, just to really emphasize this, you could just command your field, I refuse to accept any energy from that interaction that is not mine, does not serve me, and I'll let it go and release it. So law number 5, my friends, only doing 7, so we're almost there. Beautiful human. Thank you for staying with me. So we emit energy. So if we could actually see these creations of energy and these emissions of energy that we are putting out into the tapestry of this realm, we would be so much more conscious of our thoughts, so much more conscious of our words, our actions, because I really absolutely believe that you cannot really have private thoughts. We might think that we have, a private thought about someone or a judgment or this or that, and think that that has no bearing on anything in the realm. But I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that energy is created and then is kind of emitted out from our system. So many of you have probably come across Jill Bolte-Taylor, and she wrote a book called A Stroke of Insight, I think it was called, and she was a brain scientist or a brain doctor, and she had a stroke, and the nerdy part of her was really excited to examine the stroke from the inside out. And she lost all sense of numbers and words and kind of the rational part of herself. But what she had functioning very well was this capacity to be able to read energy. And when people came into her room, if a cleaner came into her room and was like, "Hi, darling, how's your day?" and, was loving towards her, she could feel that. But when they came in and they were in a bit of a shitty mood, or they were just doing their job and weren't interested in her, she could feel that. So when she was able to speak again, she asked for a sign to be put up in her room that said, "Please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space." And if this is the one thing you get out of this, taking responsibility for the energy you bring to your home, to your relationships, to your friendships, to your workplace. And I'm not perfect at this, right? But just having that consciousness around managing our own stuff. And if you need to vent out, you need to work through stuff, pay for a therapist to help you to manage that stuff, rather than it being kind of all the tensions building up in the body that are then discharged disproportionately often at the loved ones. Unfortunately, that can happen. All right, law 6, the power to transmute lower frequency energy to higher frequency energy. So as I've said, we're energy alchemists. Our systems know how to do this. They know how to work things through our body. Energy in motion, emotions. For a long time, we've been taught not to feel, right? Shh, be quiet, be quiet. If you're having a tantrum, having a scream as a kid, a lot of kids were told, be quiet, it's okay, have a lollipop, do all the things, right? But actually, energetically, that can create a buildup of densities in the system that are not helpful for us. So the more that we're able to process our emotions in a healthy way, allow them to come, not be afraid of it, feel that, whoa, I'm feeling really fucking pissed off right now, right? For example, I'm not right now, by the way, friends. But if we're able to sit with it, allow it to flow through, our system will just flow it through pretty quickly. And then we're able to transmute it and feel better. But the more we deny it and stuff it down and all of the things, we're trapping these energies into our system. And I'm sure this will be another whole topic, because some of you who are on the spiritual path, have had your spiritual awakenings, all the things, you might be surprised to discover that actually you are feeling your feelings much more. That has definitely been the case for me. And I was just always like very Pollyanna. happy, all the things, because I was actually in complete denial about so many things in my own life and in the world. But that's something interesting about spiritual awakening, that I'll definitely do a whole session on spiritual awakening and one of the stages around really identifying the constructed parts of ourselves compared to our real, authentic, true self. So we have this capacity, and the reason I want to talk about this capacity to transmute this lower energy into higher frequency energy is because, darling, when you are feeling overwhelmed and down and all of that, usually, unless there's, a massive mental illness issue, which then requires something different, but it will pass. It will work its way through. And I know that there have been many days in your life where you might have felt completely overwhelmed in the morning, and then by the afternoon you're happy as Larry, laughing your head off, right? So there are many ways that we can shift our frequency, but we don't want to just simply go high vibes only, high vibes only, and just ignore those other emotions. Because as I've said previously in one of these episodes, that our soul came here for the whole spectrum of it, and all of the emotions are equally to be experienced, not just the things that we deem to be the good and positive ones here. And then once you've felt the emotion, allowed it just to work through, and know that you're held and you're okay, right? Like, rather than, oh my God, I'm so sad, I'm so desperately sad, you just step that back a little bit with the awareness of, wow, I am experiencing the fullness of sadness right now in my human journey, and holy heck, right? And just allowing, observing, doing whatever your body wants to do, whatever your body needs to do, talking to your body. What do you need, darling? What do you need right now to soothe yourself, before you then move to the whatever it is that you do to make yourself better in a positive way, a constructive way, right? Gratitude, appreciation, laughter, dancing, music, reading something, whatever it is for you. But if we continue to ignore those feelings that we feel uncomfortable with, then my concern is around that creating densities of energy and impacting on our future health in our human body. All right. So the last law, law 7, it's interconnected with law 6, and this is around the power to increase the frequency of your energy. So rather than just waiting for things to be low and transmute them, but just to be very conscious of regularly boosting your energy, regularly connecting to source, regularly getting into nature where you can feel the rhythm. There's a reason why when you look at the sunset, when you're walking in the forest, when you're at the beach, there's a calming that happens through your nervous system, because the rhythm of that energy, that frequency, is just washing over your body and feeding you energetically. All right. I think that I'm going to pretty much leave it there for now, because I've already gone on and on and on, and there's just so much. So that's kind of just like a little high level of us as energetic beings, being conscious of our emissions, conscious of what we are absorbing, bring forth our intention as much as we can, having as many rituals throughout the day to bring us back into presence, being in command of our energetic system, but also surrendering to the fact that whatever's going on right now, our souls are in control, and they're guiding us, they're holding us, they are communicating with us very, very regularly. So you are being held through all of it. I recommend doing that exercise around what boosts you, what depletes you. I recommend you looking into those, maybe even do 5 things of each, and what changes, if any, you can make in your life to ensure that your energy is optimized as much as you can. The thoughts are, in my view, the most important thing. And my guides have said before, they're very interested in us eating well, but they have said to me that if there was a choice between eating really, really well, but having very unloving thoughts towards yourself, or maybe not eating so well, but having very loving thoughts towards yourself, the latter would be more helpful for the experience on earth, because this is the power of our thoughts. So I'm going to leave you with that and go back and sort my kids out and do all the things in the human world that has to be done, right? All these things of cooking, cleaning, washing. Oh my God, the washing in this house. If I could energetically just fairy that and have a little fairy that sorted that out, that would be so good. But again, like with anything, if we look upon these things like, oh my God, what a hassle, this is so annoying, then guess what? It will be a bloody drudge. Whereas if we can, once we've had a little inside tantrum and then be like, okay, how beautiful, that I get to do this. I get to, wash all these clothes and provide these things for these little humans that I'm living with and growing with as they guide me. I won't even try to say that I'm guiding them, because they're the ones teaching me. Thanks for joining for episode 3, and I'm so loving the feedback and all the things that people are sharing back. And thank you for those of you who've taken the time to do some reviews. They got somehow some got sent to me recently, and that was a real joy. So thank you, my friends. I appreciate you. I love you. Just look after yourself, precious, precious being. And I will see you next time, my love. Bye. So grateful to you for listening. I'd love you to share this. If you got value, rate and review my podcast so I can reach more humans. For loads of free resources, go to aliciatemmerman.com, and that'll take you to my offerings in spaces I play in, my spiritual wellness business, retreats, one-on-ones and other things. Also, I love working with couples, so check out the Marriage Hub. Finally, I have been an employment lawyer for over 20 years now, and I work in workplace mediation, conflict resolution, and mediation in other areas too. Dumais, D-U-M-A-I-S, Workplace Services is where you'll find all that info. I love you. Take good care of you.